Chemo's done more. Except that Chemo's right. Doesn't mean that he's right about the severity, but Chemo's right. He has done more. He's done more than you, Anarchy. Just admit you're wrong.
Right. I've been out there in the field, making measurements, making observations. Right. What have you done?
It's not about what any individual person has done, Chemo. It's about what the sum of humanity has done, isn't it?
Yeah, but he asked me, what have I done? You've done nothing, he says. And
yeah, but it's really not about what any individual has done, is it, Chemo? So stop trying to make it about what Druss has done or what Farmer's Boy has done or what anyone individually has done, because it's not about that.
So
it's about the sum of human knowledge, isn't it?
Why then am I getting hounded, harassed about what I have done?
Well, you shouldn't be. I agree. You shouldn't be.
Because
it should be the sum. It should be the sum of evidence, shouldn't it?
I'm a target.
Right? So how about you bring the sum of how about you bring the sum of flat Earth evidence to us?
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. That's a raw red herring fallacy. The bottom line is,
Tommy, you really should listen to other people talk and not interrupt.
He said, "What have you done, Chemo? What have you done?" So it's a direct question to Chemo in comparison to what he has done as individual. Nothing to do with humanity or anyone else or any scientists. It's nothing to do with anyone else. It's just simply him versus Anarchy. What have they done individually? And Chemo wins. Doesn't mean the Earth's that, but it does mean Chemo's right.
It's not.
Sure.
No.
But really, the long-term picture is not about what any individual has done, is it? It's the sum of human knowledge which really counts. So regardless of what I'm still talking, Tommy. Right? Regardless of what Chemo's done and regardless of what Pure's done, that doesn't really matter, does it?
It doesn't, no. You're right. You're totally right. And you bringing up this argument is completely irrelevant as well. It's a non sequitur. It's nothing to do with the argument on the table. The table is how much have you done versus how much have I done? And he has done more. That's the end of the argument. Nothing to do with humanity. And I do agree with you on the grand scale of things. What Chemo has done individually doesn't overwrite what humanity's done. Not saying it does. That's not the argument.
You think that what I said has nothing to do with the argument? Me saying that it's not about what any individual does, and even though we're talking about what individuals have done, me making a comment about that it's not what about individuals done is actually part of the argument.
So if I come up to you and I say to you, who has run the furthest? And I've got an evidence that I've run further than you have. And then you turn around to me and go, oh, other people have run further than you. That's nothing to do with the argument. How far have you run and how far have I run is the question on the table.
It's a very poor analogy, Tommy, because science can't be summed up by what any individual has done, can it?
No, the analogy is to make an example that you are wrong about your argument. That's it. It's nothing to do with what humanity has done. It's to do with what Anarchy compared to Chemo has done. That's the argument.
No, that's not the argument, you dumb motherfucker. The argument was every time Chemo opens his mouth, he uses the word we. We done this, we done this. When he hasn't done that, compares it to actually some of us have gone out and made observations. When the motherfuckers held a pair of tripod legs, and that sums up his scientific knowledge and experimentation ever, that was the argument.
No, I heard clearly you saying to Chemo, what have you done, Chemo? Chemo responded to you saying, I have done more than you, Anarchy.
You didn't hear the argument before that, you
I
dumb
did, because you said, I have taken pictures. I have taken pictures and posted it.
You wouldn't have said no, because the beginning of the argument was we. So you didn't hear.
You said word for word, I have posted pictures in this forum. I have done more than you, Chemo. And Chemo says, I have a video of me going outside. And you said, all you done was carry a tripod. So shut your damn fucking mouth.
You didn't hear the 5 minutes before that, you dumb fuck, where you said we do this.
It's irrelevant.
No, it's not. It's relevant. It is the crux of my fucking argument, you dumb fuck.
Your argument was you have done more than Chemo, and you haven't.
You don't know that.
We do. What have you done?
You just said you posted the video. go on, Chemo, sorry.
No, go on. I was just saying, yeah,
oh my God! There's a video of a guy carrying tripod legs. It's still. I go out and work every fucking day using the same fucking knowledge every day, and I've taken time after time after time, observation after observation after observation of the triangular size of the sun.
Story. That's a lovely story.
Yeah, and the pictures have been posted here over time. Go fucking find them.
Lovely pictures, not nice pictures, but I think Chemo's done more than you. That's it.
Well, that's what you think.
Yeah, but are we going to base the decision about what shape the Earth is on what Pure and Chemo have done? No.
That's not the argument. You're saying, what have you done? And I'm saying, what have you done? He hasn't done anything.
Kirst, I agree with you.
No, you're saying we, Chemo, when you ain't done anything. You add yourself in like you got a fucking mouse in your pocket to what
you guys say we all the time.
You
guys say we all the time. You always say we've gone to space. We have pictures from space.
We've done the scientific community.
But you haven't done anything, and that's the point.
No, I have. I've contributed to that.
Not enough, clearly.
Not enough, clearly. Well.
All you do, Pure, is come online and say, oh, I've been here, I've been there, but nothing's documented, nothing's measured, nothing's scienced, and then claim that you know you're on a board by parroting what you've been told when you were in school. Exactly.
Okay, exactly not.
Pissing contest. Can we move on now?
Sorry, Mr. Victory.
I said, are we done with the pissing contest? Can we move on?
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, again, we were just going through the fact that the globe earthers, in reality, the whole body of evidence is questionable. Is it evidence? Is it science? Are they practical measurements? And, you know, that's what we're trying to figure out and find out. Does anyone have anything to support the idea that we're on a globe? Right? That's where we are right now. And all the evidence, all the practical demonstrations, like I said, I've been out there, verified, there's no physical geometric horizon. So how can the Earth be curving without one?
So how did you make your measurements, Chemo?
So we were using measuring tools. We have lasers. We had GPS as well. We hired boats. We had this is on multiple different times as well. We had demarcation points which were supposed to be obstructed by curvature. Turns out there is no obstruction. We've measured the height, obviously, of the observer, things like that, distance to locations. So yeah, been out there. There's no measurable curvature, and that's what we're asking Pure for. Is has anyone done this? That's where we are, Mr. Victory.
So you just basically did a small little part of the world that you think is flat.
Absolutely, yeah. We don't have the means to scale and discover the entire flat plane, obviously, because it's...
You know, Chemo just referenced everything that was done in that mockumentary about the guys in South America with the demarcation points, the boats, the laser tests. That was all fucking...
I'm talking about when me and Randy went out there.
That was all somebody else's work.
No. I'm talking about when me and Randy went out there to Wales, got a boat, we had lasers, GPS, cameras, P1000, P900, the whole lot. And then another occasion when I went out with Nathan and Anthony, and we were making observations long distance to see if things were obstructed over that physical geometric horizon, and turns out there isn't one. So it's not that I've just been out there once, been out there multiple times, and that's much more than what you've done, Pure.
A shitload more.
Okay, we don't need to go back to who done more. We're just going over some stuff, okay?
Then how do we know the Earth is curving without that geometric horizon, without somebody making practical measurements? Why would someone believe they're on a ball?
because of all the shit that other people, other than you and Pure, have done.
Like what?
I'm back, boys. Hello, Kimo.
Is that Kalug? What is it?
Cayuga, yes.
Cayuga. Going down.
Yes, I had my lunch, yes.
Feeling full now, ready to go.
Oh, it was an omelette with bacon, cheese, and
Don't
onion.
need the details. I just need to know if you're ready to go.
I was born ready. My body's ready.
Well, not really, because you have to go for something to eat, right?
True, man. We all need sustenance. I mean, come on. This one brain cell that I have has to work somehow.
Right, so you've obviously been listening, clearly.
Not your last rant, no, because I was in the kitchen.
Oh, okay.
I just came back. Sorry. My apologies, buddy.
Time for a cuppa. Yeah. So look, what we're looking at, Cayug. I'm terrible with names, especially if they're foreign names.
It's
Cayuga.
Yeah, it's just an anagram for Japanese name. Just an MMO from my lineage 2 days, like fucking 15 years ago.
Alright, so I take it you're a globe earther.
Yes.
How is it that you're a globe earther without a physical geometric horizon? How does that make sense in your world?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a teacher. I have faith in the people who deal with this stuff because it's not my business. Not just not my business. It's not my expertise, my field.
Right.
Which is the same issue I have, not with you, not with flatties. It's just the idea, how do you want to disprove science or be scientific if you're not a scientist yourself? I'm not talking about you, Kimo. I'm talking about generally the idea, who's going to disprove this? None of us in here is a scientist. I'm quite sure everyone has a different profession, but none of us in here is a physicist or a scientist.
Well, there are physicists in here, actually, for this record.
Who's a physicist?
Paul's a PhD in physics.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, so it's just the idea that, if you want to disprove something, you have to be in the loop.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Cayuga, because we do look for the experts, those guys that you're talking about, and we speak to them on a regular basis. Now, they are no different to what you might know about the shape of the Earth.
I'm not appealing to authority.
You'd be surprised that you're actually on the same level as those so-called experts, if not further in more intellect, because you can probably think for yourself, right? Whereas these guys are unable to think outside of the mathematical realm, right?
Yeah, I don't want to take everything for granted, but I would like some sort of. It's the same thing I was saying earlier,
Because it's
not evidence or proof, but something.
Are you a glober on faith? Is it like a religion?
No, it's not a religion. It's just that I have
faith.
No, it's not faith as in terms of I believe that something that doesn't exist should exist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that I find it hard to get out of the matrix and believe that everything that has been constructed around us based on this so-called science is completely wrong, because that would include
I get it. You know what that's called? That's called cognitive dissonance, yes? So you're like, well...
No.
No, it is.
I'm not against it.
You're like, well, if it's flat, then it means that these people have lied, then that is a lie, and I just can't understand, can't explain how all of these things have happened.
No, that's not cognitive dissonance. The cognitive dissonance is thinking that, let's say, Hitler is an evil guy, but at the same time I agree with some of his points. That's cognitive dissonance, not being able to make a clear sort of assumption.
Yeah, but I'm explaining to you that no measurements of curvature has ever been made practically, ever. You will never find somebody who can provide and present to you a physical, practical measurement of curvature. Ever.
In terms of philosophy, Kimo, you're absolutely right on my end. However, that is just conjecture. That is just taking someone else's opinion. I'm not saying that you're necessarily wrong, but at the same time, how are you going to prove to me that the wine that I'm not drinking, or what Cypher said in The Matrix, that is this steak that I'm eating real?
No, I mean, you can get into philosophy and all that stuff, but we're focusing on, have you been lied to about the shape of the Earth?
Perhaps I have. But that's the thing. Taking that assumption
There
and
you
taking,
go. That's
trying
the
to
first step. Perhaps you have. So it's a possibility.
No. Me being open-minded doesn't mean that the other theory is correct. Don't confuse.
Well, let's start
the
with
two.
what's correct then. Again, let's work with the really is level, and then just sort of just thinking, well, maybe that, and philosophy that. Is the Earth actually a globe or not?
If it isn't, then what's with all the science that we have with us? I'm not talking about measurements. I'm talking about
Science.
everything around us. Airplanes working in the vacuum of wherever the dome is, to the ISS being on top of us. All this is fake then. The presumption that you find a hole in reality, and I understand the issue, Kimo, that you found an issue with reality.
This is the cognitive. This is the cognitive part, right? Now we get this all the time. Again, you're going through. I just said this in the beginning. This is the first thing I said. You said, "Well, if this is a lie, then what about that? What about this? What about the planes? What about the scientists here?" I've just said that to you in the first place. Now you're doing what I just said you were going to do minutes after I just said it, right?
Which is
the right thing to do.
That's what I'm saying to you. You're saying, well, if it's a flat Earth, then how comes this? The planes do this. How comes all the engineering does this? How comes all of that? This, that,
That's fine. I'm willing to understand that it's a ploy.
Yeah, but again, that's not the argument. I'm not answering why does all this da-da-da-da-da. I want you to focus on, is the Earth a globe or not?
That's fine. It's not a globe. Let's say it isn't. But being I wouldn't say the word contrary in this.
How do you know it's not a globe?
How do you know it's not a globe?
Because no one's
because you don't see curvature.
No one's measured curvature anywhere at any time
ever. True. We have measured curvature.
Then everything that has to do with orbits and sending something into space is all a lie.
Listen, it's kicking in. Listen to what I'm saying.
That's not cognitive sin.
Listen to the words that I'm saying. Nobody has measured the curvature of the Earth.
You are lying.
Stay on that point. Stay on that point.
Vitz, let him talk.
Stay on that point.
But he's not going to say the lie over and over without me saying he's wrong.
Fiji cracks me up. So look,
Vitz, I allow him. I'm a new guy.
He's all right, KO guy. Don't worry about Veach. Don't keep answering him. Listen to what I'm saying.
The light must shine, Kimo.
Listen to my words. Nobody, not me, not you, not anyone I know, not anyone you know, there's nobody anyone knows that has physically, practically measured the curvature of the Earth.
So what about the people who claim that they have?
So what about what?
Let me just answer as a new guy in the channel. Let Kimo do his preaching, guys. Let him do it.
No.
Yes, I'm a new guy. Let me be.
No, it's not a one-on-one, KO guy. It's an open platform, so he's free.
I am
if he wants to be rude,
after lunch,
if he wants to be rude, that's entirely up to him. But focus onto what I'm saying. Now listen up. Nobody.
Vitch is not rude. Don't worry.
Nobody has measured curvature anywhere at any time. Now, you should be saying to me, as a glober, well, that's not true. Of course, I can show you where we have measured the curve. Right?
And then prove it to you.
No, you should be showing me where someone has measured curvature, practically.
I get what you're trying to say, but unfortunately, my one brain cell being drunk right now has to come back to my original point that I said like half an hour ago.
Mm-hmm.
If we're really in the Matrix, Kimo,
mm-hmm.
and I am that little child that was carrying the ammunition in the third film in the Zion, remember with the. Then how is it my issue to disprove my reality? You're supposed to open my eyes. I'm not here to tell you that the Matrix is not real. I live in it. I am a fucking ignorant fuck. Your job is to open my eyes. I'm not supposed to be the one to tell you that.
Not really, no. I mean, if you have your faith and your religion, that's fine. You're not going to walk.
Why is it not your thing?
It's not like you're going to walk into a church full of Christians and say, "Hey, Christians, your religion is wrong. You shouldn't believe." Blah blah blah.
But isn't that kind of the same?
That's what I'm saying too. If you have a religion already, then the facts and the practicality doesn't matter to you.
No. Don't get me wrong. I'm a really open-minded guy. I'm willing to accept a lot of things, and I'm not talking just about general ideas.
But is it a religion?
I'm willing. No, of course it's not a religion.
So you don't just believe. Someone actually has measured the curvature.
Unless I'm willing to accept, again, my job is to wake up every day, do whatever I do, and then go teach. It's not to take these measurements. So I have to...
No, I didn't ask you. I said, has somebody somewhere measured the curvature?
So if they haven't, how does the whole let's say, stack of like
I don't know if they
house
have.
of cards.
I don't know if they have. Do you know if somebody has measured the curvature? They may have. They may have.
You want me to give you a scientist's name and like data now, or to actually?
No, I'm asking you. Do you know of anyone who has measured the curvature practically, physically on the Earth?
Practically and physically.
Yeah, like if you were going to build a house, you would use physical tools, right?
No, I'm with you. I'm trying to figure out where this hole in reality
How
is.
would you measure? How would you measure how big a house is? What would you do?
That's the same thing we had like 2 days ago, the discussion. Again, we're coming down to your measurement against mine, or how do I view the horizon? We're going to go into a circular sort of loop again, Kim.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to say.
I'm finding out how you know you're on a ball.
I don't want to appeal to authority, but how do you not know that the authority is wrong? How do you know that the authority that the people who say this is wrong?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. Do you know of anyone who's measured the curvature?
Again, is this the hole in reality we're looking for? Is this the basis where everything is going to collapse? Is this the first card in the house of cards that if you flick it, everything will collapse? Is this the Jenga piece?
Do you know anyone? Do you know anyone that has been to France?
Do what?
Do you know of anyone that has travelled to France?
France?
Yeah.
Why specifically France?
China. Do you know anyone who's travelled to America? Australia?
Yes. I've travelled to America.
So you know of someone who has done this, yeah?
I've been on an airplane, yeah.
So that's not a Matrix situation of did I fly to...
Is it? That's the thing. That's what I'm asking. Is it? Because I've been to Japan. It was a 22-hour flight. Was I... did they apply some sort of amnestics on me, or they made me sleep or something to believe that I went there?
Well, I don't know.
Because I've been to Japan. I've worked in Japan.
What do you think?
It was half a planet away.
What do you think?
I think not, based on my observations. But again, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong. That's what I mean. I could be in the Matrix and not realize.
So you don't know. So this is what I'm trying to find out how you see the world. So you don't know if you went
No. I know what I did, Kimo. Don't get me wrong. It's just because I'm a teacher and I'm open to ideas, I'm willing to accept another perspective. However, the other perspective cannot just be someone else's opinion, purely based on his opinion.
So do you know someone who teaches at school?
Yes, myself.
Do you know someone who has measured the curvature of the Earth?
Again, I cannot provide you an answer, and the only thing I can ask you is
be
enlightened.
Do you know someone who has ever had a hamburger in their life?
Let him answer. Let him answer your question,
That's
Kimo.
fine. That's fine, Kimo. Yeah, that is literally the different simulation thing.
Do you know someone who has driven a car before?
Again, are we in a simulation? You're not describing...
I'm only seeing you because everyone's different. So I'm asking, do you know someone who has driven a car before?
Yeah.
Do you know someone who has measured the curvature before?
I have to look, I don't know, trust Google and fucking their algorithm to give me a right answer. I mean, yeah, I can Google this for you if someone has done it, but is that really the point we're discussing here?
Well, I'm asking about what you know. So
no,
you know someone who's driven a car, you know someone who's flew on a plane, you know someone who's taught in a school, you know someone who's ate a hamburger, but do you know someone who's measured the curvature?
You're right. All I'm saying is, will all the other scientific issues ahead of that be complete and useful if nobody has ever measured the curvature? Do you understand what I mean? What I'm asking?
You know someone who's ridden a bike, a motorbike?
Was it a real motorbike? Again, are we coming back to the discussion whether this is a simulation?
You know someone who's ridden a simulated motorbike?
Again, do you? That's the discussion.
I don't know someone who's ridden a simulated motorbike, no.
I don't think someone has, unless it's a game online and they like riding bikes or doing Tony Hawk's skateboarding. I don't know people who do this virtually, no.
You know someone who's watched the television before?
Yeah.
You know someone who's measured the curvature before?
Again, as I said, if the curvature and the measurement of it or lack thereof is literally the lack, let's say we're in a dream and you're trying to figure out whether this is a dream and you figure out something is seriously wrong with your reality.
Have you ever seen a house?
Kimo, is this the issue? That's what I'm asking. Is this the issue that you're coming down to? Because all I keep hearing is whether the curvature has been...
You're the one spiraling. Listen, Do you yourself know that? Can you give me a straight answer? It's a yes or no.
Okay.
No, it's a yes. Okay, cool.
No, I appeal to authority. Where do you or Kimo get your evidence?
It's not about us now. It's
wait,
about
what do you mean?
Do you know that? This is the question, okay? Can you give us an answer right now?
I said no, but doesn't that make you a contrarian?
It's not about us. It's about you. So what you think is real is just a belief. Period. That's a fact.
So what you think is real is not a belief and it's based on evidence.
You're red herring now. It's not about us,
I'm
buddy.
not red herring. So you're saying that so the Matrix does exist, I'm in it, but at the same time, you cannot tell me what reality is. That's what you're saying, Andrew, and that I cannot accept.
I didn't make any claim about my
Yes, you
beliefs and
just
what I think
did.
is
You
real.
just did, my friend. Insinuation is a claim. Don't just hide behind the internet and words. When you're saying someone doesn't believe in their own reality, that presupposes that you believe in something else and you're trying to open my eyes. You cannot just say that I don't believe in my reality and only nothing less is out there. What exactly do you mean, Andrew? No, that's the thing. If I'm in the Matrix and you want me to wake up, you're not convincing me, Andrew. You're just telling me, listen here, mate, you're being fucking suppressed. The powers that be don't want you to learn what's going on, and I'm not going to show you the answer because you're not good enough. What exactly do you mean, Andrew? Do you have a moral authority to actually tell me?
Can you actually quote what I just said 1 minute ago?
Andrew.
Yeah, just
not
quote
everyone
what I
is
just
the
said.
same.
No, you put words in my mouth. What I exactly said, just what I said, not what I insinuated.
What you just said is the simple contrarian argument. I don't believe that Arsenal is the better team, but you cannot offer me another option. Can you offer me another option?
Buddy, I said
nobody knows. That's it. Nobody knows. That's the end result of this discussion, that nobody knows. So everything that we do in our lives, when I wake up in the morning, when I look at not just the TV that Kimo noted, airplanes flying, there are fires in Greece. I actually live on the island right now that there are fires in Greece, if you actually seen the news. All this is fake. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I never made that point.
No, that doesn't work that way. You cannot just be contrarian to someone else's opinion and then claim, oh, you're putting words in my mouth. That's not how normal people talk. You have to make a claim, mate.
Jesus.
So what is your claim? Your claim is that my claim is wrong, and that's it, Andrew, and that's where it finishes?
I'm only saying that you saying you know that it's wrong. You just believe in it because you don't even have facts.
I said I am unfortunately appealing to authority. My authority as a teacher is to teach other people other stuff.
Yeah, listen, that's where the conversation stops. You appeal to authority. Thank you. You can go on.
So that's what I mean. So what's your authority? I'm with you. Tell me
I have no authority.
So it's just your opinion, and I'm supposed to object it. So you're a chick with a dick, and I'm supposed to accept you're a woman.
Let's keep it clean.
That's exactly what you're saying right now.
Let's keep it clean.
Andrew, you have to understand that when you're saying to someone that something is wrong, they're willing to accept it as long as you prevent.
I didn't say you're wrong, dude. What I said is you believe in something because you don't have the facts. That is factually true.
I'm terribly sorry. I take it back. Wrong wording. When I'm being deceived that something is correct while it isn't your job to help me?
Deceived. And it's not correct saying that he doesn't have the facts. He does have the facts. The fact that he didn't collect those facts himself is irrelevant. He still has the facts.
Well, he doesn't. No.
He does. Just because he didn't collect those facts, himself doesn't make them any less a fact.
Okay, what's his fact? Tell me a fact that he gave us about how the Earth is a sphere. What's the fact he gave?
Again.
I have to prove myself that I'm in the Matrix? Said that you have facts about it. Tell us your facts.
No, he's actually saying, why do we always come back to the issue of authority, like appealing to authority? Because someone else. Okay, let me put it another way.
Is that you have facts.
Okay, my dad died from leukemia.
Stop red herring. Why
are you interrupting people when they're trying to talk?
Because I'm interrupting people when they keep on changing the discussion.
That's not changing the discussion.
You are.
Just let me finish my sentence, and perhaps you will actually be able to disprove me, and I'll accept it. As I said, I'm really open-minded. So my dad died from leukemia. That's a cancer of the blood. Who actually diagnosed this? Who actually turned around? With what science did they figure out that my dad had cancer of the blood? Should I appeal to authority and go and take my dad and actually have chemotherapy? How does that work? Tell me, Andrew, who am I supposed to trust? So, let me put it another way, so you don't feel offended. I'm not saying that I'm not willing to trust the opinion that the Earth is not globe or round. But if I am to appeal to authority in terms of medicine, knowing that paracetamol is a fucking painkiller and that LSD is a hallucinogenic, and we know these things because people have done experiments.
I can confirm both of them. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, why does your idea of authority stop exactly where the globe begins? So if I'm to accept that my dad is basically needs chemotherapy because that's what the doctors, the authorities say, why can I not accept that I'm flying over in the dome with an airplane because other people are saying, it's a dome and it has air pressure or whatever? Why do we have to appeal to authority at a certain level and then disprove it when we don't like the results?
You have a presupposition. I don't accept anybody's authority.
So you wouldn't accept if a doctor came and told you that
I actually had a doctor
leukemia.
tell me I have to take lots of things, and I didn't, and I just kept on having the pain. And
you're absolutely right. Then my dad shouldn't have died because the doctor was wrong. He didn't have leukemia, yet he died from leukemia. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to tell you.
I'm talking about me now. I don't accept anybody's authority.
That's appealing to emotion. You're talking about your own perspective. So it's my word versus yours.
Kayuga, let's not get all emotional now. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that.
No. Wait. I'm not being emotional, Kimo. You're wrong. He's appealing to emotion. I'm not appealing to emotion. When he's saying that he doesn't... No, wait, Kimo. If you're really a guy who wants to talk about logic and evidence, what Andrew just said now is that he doesn't believe what the doctor said. Nobody says that doctors that don't have bad apples or they won't make wrong diagnosis.
These are opinions,
how the hell are you saying,
Kayuga? These are opinions.
But that's the thing.
We're comparing apples to oranges right now, aren't we? In a way,
really, Stacey. So your oranges, Stacey, are better than my apples. That's what you're saying, Stacey. Because you told me the other day. What?
I understand, but this is a conversation that a lot of people are going to have a back and forth on, okay? I've had people in my own family just recently last year die of cancer, brain cancer. I just had somebody in my, not immediate family, but a call family who have known my entire life, just died of throat cancer. Okay, this was just literally 3 weeks ago. And both of those people went through chemotherapy. And then I've had people who've not done chemotherapy and done CBD oil and other things, and their lives have changed and gotten rid of it without dying and ruining their body. So we can sit here and go back and forth if chemotherapy is the right thing to do or not the right thing to do. Even doctors themselves will question it because it's so scary and unsafe.
Any diagnosis, Stacey, you're absolutely right. The whole question is, do these people accept the doctor's opinion? Fuck the diagnosis.
We don't accept anybody's authority.
It's best to get as many opinions as you can get and not just one, and that's the point.
Andrew, you're going into hard solipsism now. You're saying that everything can be faked, so everything is fake, so you can never know
everything is relative, nothing is.
What? When did I say anything can be fake? My claim is I don't accept anybody's authority. That's my claim.
Do you accept anyone's fact?
Oh, Kayuga, we can't. Kayuga, look.
Knowing.
This is diagnosing your schizophrenia. You're like freaking out here. You're asking us to.
Listen, I've just had 2 glasses of wine.
You're asking us to sedate you here while the freak-on is going on, while the freak-out is going on.
Imo, that's very cheap. Going at home on me.
No, but this is what you're like. You're like, help me. What do I do? Is everyone lying to me? All the doctors, everyone lying. I can't handle it.
No.
You've obviously watched The Matrix far too many times, and your references are very close. And look, you need to focus, Kayuga.
Seriously. But all I'm saying, Kimo, you haven't understood. All I'm saying is that I've interpreted your preaching or whatever you're saying not as a negative thing, but as an attempt to find the hole in reality to collapse the whole structure.
I did call this in the beginning. I did say you're going to say, what about this? What about that? What about this?
I'd be interested to know if Andrew pays his taxes. Does he stop at red lights? Does he pay his restaurant bill at the end of the meal?
For my own security, I actually won't answer that question.
No, because if you did on any of those things, you'd be following an authority, wouldn't you?
I won't answer that question. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I rest my case.
All right, so let's get back to the case. Kayuga, what we do as flat earthers is expose people like yourself who are globe earthers with a religion, with faith, who have no evidence, no science to back up. All they have, what you're doing now is giving me a lot of poetry, a lot of philosophy about what if, what is, yeah, that's all good and well. Okay. And that's the position of a globe. Now, obviously, if the Earth is a globe curving at 3959, then the horizon should be at a particular distance, 1.22 miles away from the observer height in feet. Why can't that be measured? That's the question. I mean, we can do a lot in this world, but we can't measure.
My question is that that actual question you're posing is not enough to open that hole in reality, because you're just saying there is a house of cards and you're just flicking the bottom, which is fine, but you need more evidence.
Can I ask questions?
Wait, can you just get technical, man? Like, stop arguing philosophy.
There is not. Wait. Get technical. Which one of you is a scientist in here? Excuse me.
Oh my god.
Which one of you is a scientist?
I didn't ask you.
No. Kimo. Are you his lawyer? Kimo.
I'm asking, do you know of anybody who has measured curvature? Any scientist, any surveyor? Do you know somebody who has measured the curvature?
Every single person on the earth except you, Kimo. So try to convince me that every person on the earth that knows that the curvature is real is wrong.
You're saying
Tell me, Kimo.
You're now saying that it has been measured?
Yes, every single day.
Right, can that be...
From the tides. Do you know that the moon just affects the tides? Do you know all this? All this is fake. Of course, it's fake. But do you know about all this stuff?
But can you now provide the person or the team, the group of people...
I will provide as much evidence as you have provided in this discussion, Kimo. Zero.
So you're saying
do you understand this?
I do.
No. I'm not a scientist, and neither are you. I'm a teacher. What's your profession, Kimo?
So you're saying that
what do you do? No. You're not answering the question. I'm so sorry. What is your profession, Kimo? What do you do? Do you remember the film, The 300 Spartans? What's your profession? Oh, what's your profession?
Okay, so look, this is where we need to stay focused on the question at hand. Okay. Now, obviously, you want to make it about anything but the curvature of the Earth, which is understandable. And I did call this out earlier on. Your cognitive dissonance is causing you all sorts of problems, and you're now, obviously, I can give you therapy on that at a later date to handle the situation
I am
that you're in.
the proof that globe earthers are idiots, and you will show us the light. I'm willing to accept.
I'm not here to show you the light. That's the point.
So what are you here for? What are you actually going to do except offer your opinion?
We're here to raise. We're here to raise.
Wait. Is Kimo here for that? I mean, maybe Kimo will say he is. I don't think so.
I'm not here for that.
I'm not here for that.
No, I've just said.
Yeah, I'm not here for that.
No,
why are you here then, Stacey? Tell us.
Have this conversation, and I'm not here to make you believe something.
Right.
You don't have to even believe that.
Do I sound like I'm making Kimo believe something? Do I sound like someone who's actually telling Kimo you have to accept this?
No, and I don't think you are.
No, he's asking me to convert him to a flat earther, show him the light, and I'm not here for that.
I don't think so.
What we do is raise...
I'm not here to one-up you, okay?
What we do is...
I don't know more than you know.
This is the internet. Come on.
Stupid. Okay?
No,
I don't think you're stupid.
Of course, no. That's we had this discussion with Normal and Meryl the other like an hour ago. No. Nobody's mocking anybody. What I'm saying is, I am a guy who's willing to accept a lot of things, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that I will accept someone else's opinion just by default. And appealing to disproving science is something that I'm willing to accept, as long as there's enough, backing it up, something to
You're
work
not
with.
Even listening to the working
No.
things.
What
Yes,
Kim was saying
you're
about
not.
curvature, is that the beginning of the issue? That's
Yeah,
what I'm
we
trying
can
to tell
talk
you.
for hours about lots of things, but you don't even want to get there. You keep on talking about philosophical arguments, buddy.
Wait, Andrew, are you gonna appeal to scientific facts or something, Andrew? What do you mean? Are you a scientist?
What the fuck is a scientific fact apart from
Because
a fact?
that's exactly the point. How is your moral authority or your word?
What moral authority, dude? Are you a teacher? Don't they teach you to be specific in words?
Yes,
moral
exactly.
authority. What the fuck is that?
When you're saying that everything is
let
wrong,
me Google this. Actually, maybe.
Wait. You can claim that
moral
2 + 2
authority.
is 5, Andrew.
Can I
Would
ask
that
you
be
a
a
question,
discussion?
Kay, as a teacher then?
Go on.
If I was a student, hon, as a personal, if you're a teacher, right? And I'm not denying you are. And I was a student, and I wanted to learn something, and like you said, feel the way you do, where I don't know the truth. I'm trying to find the truth, right? Then shouldn't I sit back and kind of listen to everything, take it on board, and then figure out what I want to do next with that information for myself? Wouldn't that be what you want your children to do as students?
Definitely. Truth is not subjective. I will tell you to
Okay.
research things. However, what kind of a research are we talking about here? Because at one side, I can hear people trying to disprove everything that we know, but at the same time, they're trying to appeal to that as well. So I'm willing to accept it, Stacey. I would never tell a student that A is necessarily always A, but that doesn't mean that it isn't.
Right, true. Right. We just have to make sure we verify that. And even when we verify things, sometimes maybe things in life can change, and signs and things too of the world. Besides the things that we know naturally don't change the natural laws. Now, do I know that natural law isn't going to change 1,000 years from now? I don't know. I haven't been here long enough to know how this world works.
You're absolutely right. 1,000 years ago, we didn't know this shit.
What can be repeated in our reality over and over right now? There's a lot of things that we can figure out, but there's a lot of things that we can say we have an answer to, but we may just have a correlation or a conclusion that we think is a conclusion, but there might be another answer to it too.
Definitely. It's the same thing that nobody, should just have one specific opinion on the matter, and it should be researched. But at the same time, when you're trying to destroy a whole like a house of cards, you have to sort of not necessarily build or provide another house of cards, but there has to be something. That's all I'm saying. You cannot just say that blue is not blue and the sea is not blue, it's actually green because of the algae. Okay, that's fine, but you have to have more of a basis than just a personal observation. The first discussion I had with Chemo was the fact that he doesn't see a curvature. That's fine, I'm willing to accept it. That was the basis with Merle, that he felt offended that someone would not accept that. Why is it that big of an issue?
Just for clarity, what offended me and what continues to see, I'm in the end zone, man. I'm in a different camp. I'm one person. Okay, I'm not flat Earth. I'm just one person. I don't speak for flat Earth. But hearing it continually get mocked, it's never addressed. The bigger questions are never asked. The amount of awareness that this subject has opened up and what it's left humanity in is in the dark. It's a scary proposition that people don't have the courage to address this issue as a mature adult. I've been waiting for that. It makes my soul scream.
So how do you address?
This is an issue. This is the last thing I want to say, guys. The only option I have left is to take this up with God. That's it. Because the humans don't want to know.
Is God part of the scheme?
What do you do when a child is covering their ears and going, no? How do you address that? Because that's what flat earthers are doing. How do you want us to address that?
Oh, so we
before we address that, can I say one thing? Then you got to realize it's both sides feel that way, right? The nana, like we feel on both ways. Like, so we're both kind of not getting anywhere. We're both like literally for the last 3 or 4 years taking our heads and throwing them against the wall because you're right, I'm right, who's right? In reality, we all don't know a lot of information. And the problem is the fact that people say that there is a settled information on this subject matter is the issue. And now we need to start talking about it on a very adult-like level and get to some information without having personal attacks in this.
The problem, Stacey, is that I will say this is true because of this and this experiment and this fact and this and this and this and this, and you will go, no, it's not. That's why.
I don't always do that.
Yeah, that's 90% of flat earthers' arguments. It's just no, that's not true. No, I don't believe that.
It's not my ball.
Here's the thing. People have the right, though, to either believe something or not to believe something. I'm not trying to make you believe in flat earth or not believe in flat earth. It's not about that. It's about the information at the end of the day that can be validated. So if somebody can't be validated and if somebody doesn't want to believe in it, we should be okay with that because they can't see it be a bright experiment for them or whatever. We shouldn't be upset with that.
You
should go, you know what?
Right,
I can understand
Stacey.
that you don't have the experiment and you don't want to believe. I get it. That's where it should be.
Stacey, you're absolutely right. For some people, ignorance is bliss. For the people, though, that do not agree with that ignorance is bliss and they want to just explore what is going on, they cannot just take someone's opinion as fact. That's all I'm saying. That's all. Nothing more. I'm not mocking anything because we had this discussion earlier with Merle. I'm not telling that, saying that chemo is wrong or you're wrong. But if that's going to happen, we have to have something to go with. Not just saying that something is not right. It's like saying Arsenal is not a good team, but I don't have another team for you to go with. There's no other team in the playing field. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss for some people, don't forget. They're fine to live their lives like this.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, if we're wrong about the world and we're being lied to, and we can't get to certain places to verify these things or get to space or even Antarctica, all these things, how can I ever come up with an answer for you or for myself? I wish I could.
Yes.
I wish I could.
The thing is, you can use your intellect so that you don't have to go to Antarctica.
No, I mean, what Stacey is saying is correct in a way. I mean, but at the same time, then Stacey, what's going on with the stuff that we can actually, for a lack of a better term, observe? Like we have an international space station. Is that really fake? That's what it comes down to, for me at least, temporarily, as far as this discussion is concerned. Because I'm with you. If the powers that be do not want us to go in space, which is fair enough, they want to keep us here, I'm with you. What are we actually seeing? What is this rockets and fucking Bezos going to space and all this bullshit? What is this? All I'm saying is that I'm willing to accept that something is behind this, and I'm not going to call it a conspiracy theory. I'm just going to call it there's a veil, but there has to be something behind it. That's all I'm saying. It's like there has to be like the Wizard of Oz. There has to be an old guy pressing the buttons and clicking, the whatever, and
well, of course, and we don't know. If there's somebody in control, we definitely probably won't know who they are, or if it's 1, 5, 10, 100,000. I don't know. But in reality, if we're being lied to, it shouldn't matter. Who's doing it, how's doing it, we just need to understand that we are. And the fact is that people are not requesting, validation for the reality that's right in front of them. They're being told what our reality is, and we just accept it. But when are we going to actually validate that for ourselves? Now, I'm not saying I can go to space, right? I can't, right? Okay, I'm not going to validate space, but I can validate what I'm standing on. And when they're telling me that I used to see a drop 60 feet within 10 miles, and I'm in Michigan growing up at 8 years old, and I'm seeing Chicago, and I realize later on it's 54 miles away from me, and they're trying to give me excuse of refraction that's been quantified to no end to fit their model, and they can't show me this in reality besides, you're observing it. I can't ever see gas pressure without a container, but I'm supposed to believe that I'm living near a near perfect vacuum, and we're in an open system, and I'm flying around space, and just gases that just stay here.
Absolutely right. So what do we do with things we cannot necessarily observe? You're absolutely right. So what do we do with things we cannot observe?
Spoiler alert, you don't fucking believe in them. Thank you.
Let's say it does. It doesn't matter.
No, you don't.
Again, how do you disprove or prove things you cannot see?
So the question of saying, then we don't believe in them, like literally, just because you don't understand why something happens doesn't mean you can make the argument of incredulity and say therefore it doesn't happen just because you don't understand it.
I'll jump in. I'll jump in one more time. Unfortunately,
yes, very.
You are doing you're doing exactly what I raised. See, you're not handling this as a mature adult.
By the way, I want to apologize. I am a bit drunk. I've drunk 2 bottles of wine.
Not you.
No, generally, I feel the need to apologize if I sound too passionate or too crazy. I've just had a bit of one. That's all. No offense, guys. No offense.
There's certain people in this discussion who handle this with a nappy on. Okay?
Yeah, and some people just piss in their pants like you.
There's a time where things need to get real and reality driven. That's not
in the reality.
Many of the people don't operate on that mode. But to Jim Panda's credit, he provides an environment where people can at least have a go. They can figure it out. They can chime in. They can add something. They control. It all happens in this environment. but that's on people. They have to be responsible. They have to focus. They have to hone in on a subject. If proof and disclosure is what we're all looking for, see, that's the thing, isn't it? We're not all looking for truth, disclosure, reality, facts. People don't function on that. A lot of people are in a computer game, watching a porno, eating McDonald's, right?
Get to your point, Mel.
The globe is the dead paradigm. It's been outdated. It's like an old operating system that a lot of people no
What's
longer
it been outdated with, Mel? What's replaced it if it's outdated?
So all the poor people, are they going to space?
Answer my question, Mel. What's it been replaced with if it's been outdated?
So the poor, are they going to space?
A question was asked, Mel. You made an assertion that it's been. You made an assertion that it's been outdated. What's it been replaced with?
I'm answering it. So are the poor going to space?
That's a question. That's not an answer. That's not an answer, Mel. That's a question.
If you were brave enough to answer, you would realise many things with my question. Way more than what you asked me.
So I'm not getting an answer to the question. You made an assertion, Mel, that the globe is outdated. That means that it's been replaced with something. What has it been replaced with?
Reality.
That is a good point.
We would say if it's reality, we would say the globe is the reality, Mel. So well done. You've just replaced the globe with itself.
What the reality is the normal everyday people, right? They were not ever going off world. Ever.
What's the definition of normal everyday people? How do you define a normal everyday person, Mel? What is a normal everyday person?
A normal everyday person that goes to work and gets up in the morning and goes to a job and earns money to pay rent, to live in a box and have an internet and a computer and food in their fridge. That's life.
Mel. So you're different from us then, Mel.
No, I'm not under the illusion that we're going to get in a spaceship and go somewhere else.
Sure, but we still haven't had an answer to the assertion that you made that it's been outdated, Mel.
You guys just proved it, Merle. I'm not blaming you, honey, but this is exactly what I just said a second ago. We can't have, this is why I want to have a panel or something of a few of you Globers that are really cool and keep going back and forth, because at least we can have a productive conversation that's about the topic at hand instead of fighting over, you should be doing this, I should be doing that, you should believe this, I should believe that. Let's talk about the subject and not us.
Sure, and I was talking about the actual subject. Mel made an assertion that the globe is dead, that it's outdated. That means it's been replaced with something. So what has it been replaced with, Mel?
Who says it's been replaced? Okay, just because you figured out that it's outdated.
Well, the fact you can't outdate something without it being replaced by something. If something's outdated, it means it's been replaced. It's been updated.
I'm not a mod, but Stacey, you're both right. You're both right. You're both actually right. Curse also makes a point. You cannot use the word outdated unless it's about semantics and not present something new. You're both right.
Get over it. Maybe the wrong word to use because it seems like you have something else to now fix that outdated thing.
It's the wrong word, but you're blabbering.
What Mel's replaced the globe with?
I mean, Mel specifically, he specifically made the claim that it's been outdated.
Okay, well, let's just fix the word outdated. The globe is not correct, you think. The globe is not correct, so we don't have to now fix it with something that we don't know yet. We have to find it.
No, Stacey makes a valid point. She says we don't know yet. So
speaking for Merle.
Okay, sorry.
There's people at different levels. You could ask 10 people on the street
here at the bottom
standing there. That you could be standing there and you could go, do you realize there's an Earth question? That people are questioning what the Earth is. Some people go, I don't care. I haven't got time for that. I have to go shopping. Bye. Someone would stand there and go, oh, that's really interesting. It's going to be a wide array of interest or lack of interest. Again, that where humans' interest engages isn't the issue here. The amazing thing is that water is the thing that will free everybody.
Have you replaced the
from
globe
this
model
material.
or not?
The water isn't lying. The water does not lie. People do.
Finish what? He's babbling.
Meryl, water can't speak. How can it lie?
People lie.
Okay,
That's why we're in this mess.
Let's have someone
No,
else.
no.
You, okay.
Meryl, I just want to ask you one thing because
I trust water more than any human being.
Meryl,
that is exactly why I want to ask you this question, because every single flat earther I've ever heard for the last 6 years has always said the same thing. Water is level. We were all globe earthers before we all believed the globe earth. And I agree. You did believe the globe earth. You just didn't understand it, because if you did understand it, you wouldn't be a flat earther.
So
Thank
water,
you. Good point.
water is the answer. Water
No,
is
water's
the
not
answer.
the answer. Do you know what level is? It's perpendicular to the
Have
center
you
of
ever
mass
seen
of the earth.
curving water, Jezza?
Jesus fucking Christ.
Have you ever
Meryl.
seen curving water?
Just
The
Jazz.
question is simple.
Jazz,
No,
Jazz,
no.
it doesn't
No.
matter what you think of us anymore.
I mean, making the claim that water is
I'm
the
not
answer
lying.
makes about as much sense as saying meat is the answer or zucchinis are the answer. Right? It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. What the actual answer would be, Merle, is what about water? Measurements about water. What water does is the answer, not water itself.
You're both right again. In my mind, you're both right.
Hang on. You're not even willing to address this
Mel,
as mature adults.
Why does water have a meniscus, Mel? Why does
What's
water
that?
have a meniscus, Mel? Why does water have a meniscus?
You tell me.
No, because I'm the one asking you the question. I know why. I know
And
why
you-
water has a meniscus, but tell me why you think water has a meniscus.
And you're the shit hot researcher, Meryl.
Yeah, I mean, the point is, the point I was
be
making
something
is
to
that
do-
saying,
could
the
it-
point I was making is saying that
thank
water
God
is the,
Paul
you
did-
saying that water is the answer is not an answer at all.
Cypher, I'm sorry, mate. I don't know what's going on here.
No, you're not.
Well, if you have a cup, if you have a cup full of water, my mate, you're going to get surface tension. Okay, and that's what causes the meniscus.
Yeah, but Mel, the surface tension isn't the meniscus. Do you know the difference between surface tension and the meniscus?
The meniscus in a small cup of water will only be there on a small scale.
No, that's wrong.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely wrong.
Well, why isn't it there? in the swimming
Meniscus is
pool?
there on any edge, Mel.
Why isn't it there?
Regardless
in
of
the
the
swimming pool?
size. It is. You just don't notice
I-
it, Mel.
I grew up with a perfectly square swimming pool. And I could come out in the morning before jumping in the deep end and doing a big fucking bomb, which I used to love doing as a little kid. It would be like glass.
Okay, so were you looking
Perfect
at the corners
square.
of it, and like the edges of where the water met the
Perfect
pool itself?
square.
Yeah, the wall of it.
You
or
guys
not?
aren't
Did you
going to
just
mug
jump into
me
the
off
pool?
about
Did you
water.
look
How
at the
can you
water?
substantiate that it was perfect, Mel?
Wait.
You're not going to mug me off about water.
Mel makes a very
Yeah, well,
good
you're
point.
not going to mug me off about anecdotal claims that it was perfect. What you need to support that claim, Mel, is measurements, right?
Meryl, is the pool a contained environment, or is it a natural environment?
It's both.
Because the pool is not really affected by tidal waves or wind or all that kind of stuff. Of course, it's going to be level and square.
And there's not a lid on the pool, so is it really a container?
And I didn't ask about the surface tension. I asked about the meniscus.
Yeah, and the other thing you said, which was a good one.
Is meniscus Earth curve, Cypher?
No.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with Earth curve. Did I
Well,
say
it should
anything?
do.
Did I mention Earth curve at all in this conversation, Mel?
Well, that's what you're talking about.
That's what we're talking
Shape of the
about.
Earth.
No, we're not. We're talking about the meniscus of water.
No, I'm making the claim.
We're talking about the little line around the glass of water where it seems to be climbing up the
I'm here actually
the wall of the
making a
glass.
claim today. Just let me make the claim. I am saying that the surface of water on a larger scale than a cup.
Cool, has nothing to do with what I'm asking about.
Let me finish,
The
mate.
surface
I'm
of
nearly
the water
there.
doesn't have
Cypher,
anything
come on.
to do with the meniscus.
Dude.
I'm finished, Cypher.
I'm just saying that the surface, I would be part of a scientific experiment to prove this, that the surface of water from a swimming pool and up, there is no curvature on that water. None.
In a pool?
Zero. Zero.
When you're
If
going
there's
to
any
conduct...
deviation in the waterline, it is negligible at best.
What do you mean negligible?
That's in a pool.
Negligible means irrelevant. Irrelevant. So what we know is rivers and the oceans, the surface of it, that it's impossible. It's physically impossible for the surface to contort itself and hold sphericity, as someone like fucking Whitsitt would say. But he's just
it's not impossible, is it? If you understand the physics, it's not actually impossible, is it, Mel?
Yes, we can prove it. With scientific experiments, we could prove this without a shadow of a doubt.
We can, Meryl. So at different latitudes, if we take a mean sea level,
certainty, guys.
At different times, would you take the mean sea level at different levels? Would that not mean that the water's level?
Would you be willing to take part in the experiment and watch your world come crumbling down?
You see, Mel, reciprocal zenith measurements over even a short body of water shows that you're actually wrong.
So, oh shit! I mean, okay, Merle. Again, I'm not here to disprove you. We've had this discussion before. However, how does the pool justify tsunamis? Can you explain that to me? How does a body of water that is contained in a pool can actually explain something that happens throughout thousands of miles? How does that actually cover everything?
That's weather.
I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong, but the actual pool, how does the how does the pool actually exist as the ultimate sort of observation or experiment that will cover everything?
He didn't say it was the ultimate. He didn't say it was the ultimate.
No, he didn't. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I'm just saying, how, if it's always non-curved and flat, how does that prove the rest of the things that we see?
Wait. Sorry, what the fuck? Did someone say tsunami? How does a tsunami work? And Meryl...
No, they didn't say that. No, they didn't. Jazza, they didn't say that. No.
Sorry.
Pay more attention, please.
No, Jazz, I'm with you. I just said, how does that equate when we have whatever, even false observations of tsunamis being created by a small wave, let's say coming from an earthquake in Portugal, and it hits the east coast of the United States? How does that work with a pool experiment? How does that prove it or disprove it?
Well, let's really get to the crux of the issue. See, yesterday we have a flat earther called Anthony Riley, and he added some salt, a soluble substance to the water and put an egg in it, and there's contention, which I think is fair, that is this a valid scientific experiment? So where we've arrived as a community, and Jem is somebody who's what I appreciate is we're getting to the level where we may not be all professionals or all scientists, but we can perform the scientific method as the so-called mainstream authority does. We can conduct experiments and follow the method to the letter, and that's how.
But Anthony didn't, did he, Mel?
No,
Anthony didn't actually follow the scientific method at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that the real issue, and I think some of us have been around long enough that we want to go to the next step, and rather than just debate it and talk about it, we want to go to that next step.
Mel, would you agree that people that publish scientific papers follow the scientific method in general?
Yes.
Yeah, so we could rely on those papers, those published scientific papers, as examples of people carrying out the scientific method and whatever data and evidence they've collected that we could trust because they've published it and we could verify it. We could look at it ourselves and see if they've made any mistakes or if they've hidden something. You know, you're welcome to actually go and repeat an experiment that's been published, right?
Right. I thought science was always an open book.
Yeah, so all of that knowledge that's been published in scientific journals over many, many hundreds of years is all evidence that can be looked at, right?
But science doesn't prove things, as you guys say.
No, it doesn't. That's right, but it's evidence, okay? The point I'm making is that we don't have to go out. We don't have to go out and do everything for ourselves. That we can look at what other people have done and use our own judgment to see if we believe or if we think that they've done a fair job.
I was just listening to...
The only thing I can say is if you have a tomato seed and you give it the correct nourishment and nutrients and environment to grow, I'm pretty sure an orange tree isn't going to emerge out that seed.
Sure, but no one's claiming that that's going to happen, are they, Merle?
Well, someone just said that science can't prove things. We can prove things. We can.
No, you can't prove things. What you can do is you can supply an enormous amount of evidence to suggest that what you're asserting is true, but you can't prove it. Because there always could be something else that comes along. Couldn't there, Merle?
Let me just make one last example, then I'll leave it. So a cow has been great.
Yes, there is.
Cow's been grazing in a field.
Really good test. Oh, sorry.
You know,
I am sorry, guys.
Chewing the grass. It's ready to be milked. It's a dairy farm.
Babble.
You can count on your lucky stars that milk will be in those udders and not grass juice.
What? Yeah, but that's well understood by science. All of that process has been looked at and investigated over many hundreds of years, Mel, and we have a fairly good understanding of how that process happens, right? And my point is that you can go and read any scientific paper, and if you disagree with what that scientific paper says, you can investigate and carry out the research and point out where it's wrong and publish a paper yourself and show where it's wrong, can't you?
Yes.
I bet there's been cows that didn't have milk in their udders, so you've kind of proven wrong there then, I guess.
No,
yeah, not all cows do produce milk. They only produce milk when they're in calf.
Anything wrong? But
they only produce milk when they think they've got a calf, Mel.
Okay, so when that's not true either. But when
yes, it is.
What about mammals? What do women do? What?
All right, let's end the quibble.
I mean, I lived on a dairy farm in Wales. There were many cows being milked daily.
What happens to a cow if you don't milk it after a while, Mel?
Become stone.
Anyway, like when it comes to turning on a light switch, plugging in an electric appliance, there are things we can count on, rely upon.
Yeah,
Jem's
but
example about the bluebells.
I've tried to put the light on, and it didn't flick on because the light was broken. So there's another place.
If you put a picture on your wall, you can be pretty sure that it's going to be exactly where you placed it. These people who say you can't prove or know things, that worries me.
But you can't really know, like, you can be confident that it'll be there, but you do know that the chances it won't be if a wind came or earthquake happened or something. So it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, that's why it's 95% chance.
Yeah,
that's why it's 95%. Nothing's guaranteed.
Proof typically conveys the idea of 100%. So if given that it's not 100%, that's why we say it doesn't really prove things.
Nothing's 100%. Nothing is.
That's why we say it doesn't prove things. I mean, things are 100%. In formal systems, there you do get 100% proofs, right? Because those are.
What do you mean nothing's 100%? That's the strangest thing I've heard.
The laws of thermodynamics are not 100%.
I mean, nothing's really 100%. Like, what do you think of in real life?
That's why it's called the law. Okay, makes sense.
What do you think in the real world, in the physical world, is 100% rule?
A tree, when you analyze the tree, it will be made of wood and not metal.
Well, I mean, that's a good one, but are you absolutely certain that there's not some planet somewhere that we're going to find one day where we'll have something we call a tree that's made of metals?
Now that's a leap of faith.
Well, no, wood is pretty basic.
The fact that we don't know for sure that's not going to happen is why we call that, like, you know, look, you have very high confidence that won't happen, but you don't know for absolutely sure. That's the trick there.
Well, I'm just saying that there are some things we can rely upon and rest our hat on. You know, a pen, a piece of paper, a cigarette lighter.
Yeah,
they're not anything else other than the things they are. A vase.
I went to get my car the other day and started up, and
an art gallery.
Work. I had to figure out why my car wasn't working.
Well, your car will never stop being a car, will it?
We put our lives in line for these things all the time. We trust in things quite a lot. There are a lot of things we can count on, for sure. It's just different than what proof means is all.
Fair.
Yeah, all I had to do was wiggle the battery terminal, like tighten the battery terminal on the thing up, and it went, but it didn't go before that. And every other time it had gone. But that one time, I had to tighten the battery terminal. It was weird.
Yeah, but it's still a car. At the end of the day, you're going to wake up, though, and the frequency has changed so much of this world that a car isn't a car, or a tree isn't a tree.
Yeah, but every other time I get into it, Stacey, I didn't have to tighten the battery terminal. I could just get in and go. This one time it didn't do it, and I had to figure out why.
Yeah, because your battery's shot. You need a new battery, but that has nothing to do with reality.
No, the terminal was loose. No, literally the screw on the battery terminal just loosened itself a little bit, and I tightened that up. But yeah, that was an easy fix. I mean, if it had gone further, I probably would have had to have gone to a mechanic.
It's a bit of a philosophical issue, though. The philosophy of it is that it's possible. It is possible, right, that we are delusional. Like that maybe right now some of us are in a mental asylum somewhere where we're hallucinating. That's possible, and it's not very likely at all. It's incredibly hold on, let me just finish. It's incredibly unlikely, right? In fact, it's almost certainly not true. But there's a tiny sliver of chance that it could be true, and that would mean cars might not be cars. And you know what I mean? Like everything could change, and that sense, that little tiny sliver is the important part.
I'm sorry, Beach, but you just made a new script. You just made the best script you've ever written in your entire life. This whole time for the past 5 years, we've all been sitting in a mental asylum, and we thought that we're on Discord, but in reality, we're all fucked up on mental.
Well, that's the Matrix. That's the Matrix, right? They already did that one.
Yeah, well, and the point that I was making, it feeds into what Scott was saying. I was fairly confident that my car would start because usually it does. But this, I had to figure out why. And luckily, it wasn't something that I had to take it to a mechanic for. You know, all I had to do is pop the hood, have a look, looked at the battery first and figured out, that's loose, tighten it up. Let's see if it goes now. Bob's your uncle. If it was anything, you know, deeper than that, I probably would have had to have taken it to a mechanic. I'm not great mechanically, so I would have had to have taken it to someone that knew what they were doing.
But what is the difference? What is the analogy that we're trying to apply? And I'm not trying to be rude, but what is the analogy that you're trying to apply then to this?
Because you can't be sure that everything that you're sure of in the past is going to, you know, be a certainty tomorrow. Something could change.
Correct. Oh, correct. Yep. And even with cars, especially if you're a mechanic and you know, you wake up and there's days that my ex used to be very good at cars that fixed everything on my car would make it go, I don't fucking know.
But I had no degree of confidence that my car would have started when I turned it on the other day. It didn't. So, you know, whatever.
Oh no, Stacey B, if you're going to go back,
hang on. That's not scientific, though, is it? Starting your car engine in your car. That's not scientific.
Well, sorry, just interjecting 1 second.
Yeah, well, then I had to pop the hood and go get scientific about figuring out what was wrong with it.
Not
which
really.
Luckily, like I said, didn't take too long.
Mechanic. That's an engineering.
I started the battery.
That's fair.
It's not science.
Yeah,
it's not science. It's engineering.
Oh wow, they were actually. That's true, but they were talking about the point of certainty rather than science versus not science. They were saying,
"Oh, okay."
I
just wanted to make sure that was clear. That's engineering. Okay.
Exactly, engineering, and what Stacey B just said about the car analogy that was just used. That you can't fucking use that, or you can, but you can't because we knew all this shit fucking thousands of years ago, and we have cars now. But evolution didn't happen. There's fucking pubs and shit in Europe.
What the hell are you on about, Jezza?
They have 4 or 5 foot fucking doorways.
The point I was trying to make is that there's a shit ton of evidence out there in a whole history of scientific papers. Anyone is willing to, has the right to disagree with any of that. But if they do, then they have to provide their evidence and provide their reasoning for why they think that paper's wrong. And when they do that, the original author of the paper also gets the right to respond to their criticism and rebut it. And that's the way it should work. That's how scientific advancements work. So if you guys disagree with the globe, you have to provide your evidence and your reasoning, and then we have the right to rebut what your reasoning and what your evidence is. That's the way it works.
I agree in that. I wish it would be more like that on here. Let's go back and forth. You say something, I say something. I'm not just saying me and you, but everybody. And we don't argue over it.
Science is like...
Hang on, Kurt.
Science is like if someone came up and didn't know anything about anything, right? Someone came up with an egg, a chicken's egg. Hold on. And they come up with an egg and they say, "Hey, look at this round rock. Check this rock out. It's delicate, but it's a round white rock." Science is like, do me a favor, crack it on that rock real quick. Take a look at the inside.
But in saying that, what I was just saying just before you said that, Curved, and that was a great point, is that what I'm saying is that there is hundreds of buildings in Europe that literally have historic buildings built hundreds and hundreds of years ago that have a doorway height of 4.5, 5 feet, because the people back then were that much shorter. The average height was that much shorter. These buildings exist.
So we're on a globe now? Because they're short?
No, I'm not saying a globe. I'm
How is that relevant to anything we were talking about, Jazza?
Yeah, but have you got any evidence for that they're all that short? I don't think you have.
I just said that you can go to these fucking buildings.
Yeah.
Remember that Star Trek episode where Data's like forgets everything. The teacher's like, "Oh, there's fire elements in this wood," and Data was like, "No, she creates the fire." They're like,
Why would you build a bar with a 4 foot high fucking doorway?
I love you both, Jazza. Okay, listen, I'm going to be very honest here. I love you both. I've known you guys, the Gypsy and Jazza, and I consider both you guys good friends, actually, in a way online. But when both you guys, I think about when it comes to these conversations that are productive and debates instead, the Gypsy, you try to kind of stay neutral because you don't want to have that like a 24. And Jazza, you're too damn drunk to even understand what you're doing right now, even though God bless you're great. So can we have a productive conversation where we were? Because in reality, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yes, we can, good sir. Let's carry on.
Oh my God, that's great.
Stacy, yes, I do try to stay a step back, third person view.
So, put me on the straight and narrow.
I'm just giving you shit, but you know I love you. You know I've defended you many times.
Man, every time there's someone in here and I put on Discord to listen to Pass Out, go to 24, I always hear Quantum or QE or whoever the fuck it is. Gypsy, wake up, roll over, Gypsy, come talk with us. It's like, fuck, shut up, try to sleep.
You know what's funny? We scientifically can't even figure out how to have an adult conversation, but we're still trying to fucking figure out what the new model.
Stacy, whereabouts in Michigan are you? Are you across the? Are you east of the lake? Are you east of Chicago? Are you south near Gary?
I've been traveling so much. I'm not in Michigan anymore. Then I was in Indiana. Then I was in Texas. Then I was all over. Then now I'm in England. So
England,
yeah, I'm all across the country now, honey.
Hopefully not in London.
Like
not
England,
too far, 20 miles from London.
Luton?
England, like Boston.
Oh, Luton or London?
No, I thought you were in London. That's what I mean. Don't be in London. Don't.
Yeah, I'm 20 miles from London. I landed at Heathrow Airport.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit. So you're definitely in London if you're at Heathrow.
Southwestern, yeah.
Yeah.
You're in the Piccadilly line. Yeah, you're part of London. Yeah.
Ooh, I got lots of video of that picket line. Fuck.
No,
I will become either citizen.
I used to live in North London,
United
Stacey.
Kingdom citizen too, so I should be both here soon.
I used to live in Finsbury Park up north.
Actually, was it London or Australia? I got a video of their army coming in and just fucking fist fighting the cops. It was great.
They said Piccadilly line, I think, not picket line.
It's definitely probably some CGI shit then, because that's never happened.
What's a Piccadilly?
Hey, Jazzy, remember that time you're on 24 and you're like, hey, Stacy, I'm going to pick up you and Mary Mom in a jet. Or it was a helicopter. And I think Jedi was there too. We're going to pick you up and we're going to fly. I don't think you ever told me where we were flying. And then all of a sudden we were on a conversation that you were going to prove the globe because you're a pilot. But that was the end of it. That was like 2 years ago. I think you passed out. Yeah. And I'm still been waiting for 2 years for that catfish that I could get in. You swear to God, you're going to kill me. I love you, bro.
I must have got hypoxia and passed out because of the altitude change. There's no atmosphere up there.
Whoever asked what the Piccadilly is, just a famous metro line that goes from North London to the southwest of London to the Heathrow Airport. That's it. It's just a metro line.
It's a city too, right? Isn't it Piccadilly City? No?
I don't think there was a Piccadilly area. Piccadilly Circus. Yeah, there's a station called Piccadilly Circus.
I got you.
Stacy.
But the blue line is called Piccadilly because I used to live in Manor House, between Manor House and Finsbury Park.
This is
and basically
for the ice wall.
I see. It's like a neighborhood.
In London, man, it's trash.
Jim's here. Uh-oh. Everybody, bow down, get on your knees, and welcome Jim.
Hey, Jim.
Welcome, Jim.
Hello, Jim.
We love you, bro.
Thank you very much.
I'm telling everybody I love them today. Sorry.
I'd rather hear from Jim than fucking quadratic erection.
Jazza, you just want to hear me all day, honey. Like every other man who's drunk does. A woman.
Damn straight.
Don't put yourself down. It's not that you're a woman.
Oh, honey, I don't need you to think about me. That's why I said a woman, because I'm getting married. I'm happy.
Nice.
Woo!
Do it.
It's just that your name's Mrs. Stacy Bravo.
Bravo! No. And it's still going to be B.
No, don't make it the American phonetic alphabet. Don't be Baker, please. Be Bravo.
No.
Be Bravo, please. Baker is just
the
fucking Able Baker Charlie Dog. Fuck the Americans. It's Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta.
Man, I know a lot of bakers.
The phonetic alphabet is international. It is. I'm talking to you now. Mike Romeo, Syria. That's a fucking country. Syria, Tango, Alpha Charlie, Yankee Bravo.
Are you serious?
Jazza.
Are you serious?
No, he's not. He's serious.
Serious?
I'm Syria. There's a lot of shit going on in that country that all flat earthers don't agree with.
All right, drunk question. Where would you like to be? 1,000 years or 2,000 years before this in the ancient times, or 2,000 years in the future where we're head somewhere?
Rather be right now at your mom's house.
Oh man.
Stop it.
Jeremy.
Stop it, son.
Someone applied it.
Son. You shot me right up the bum.
Oh, burned. Oh.
That's a deep burn.
Got him.
Houdini over here. Houdini.
I know. If I could go back, I would be flying in the Vietnam War.
Ooh.
If it's only
I know that's going to upset a lot of people.
Is that a fortunate sun comes on, it ain't me comes plain moment?
You know the question I like to ask people? If you could go back in time to say ancient Rome or before that even, or a little bit after that, what could you actually show people to help them advance technologically? Like most people have nothing to offer.
You know what? See,
I'll tell you what. I'll give you my opinion.
That's a good fucking question.
If we were in ancient Rome or Greece and you showed them an airplane in the sky, they would fucking collapse their whole society. It would collapse everything.
I think the way that you do it, Jeremy, I think the way that you do it, Jeremy, is you find wherever you are. Let's say you end up in the past, right? You find the smartest person you can. So let's say you end up in, I don't know, you find Euclid if you're that. Hold on, Jazz, let me finish. You find Euclid if you're in that time period, or you find Newton if you're in that time period, and then you tell them everything you know that has happened since they're
not going to believe you.
Hold on, and you tell them everything that's happened, and then see if that doesn't spur them to get some of those advancements happening faster. You can't do them, right? You're not going to solve calculus, but Newton's going to do it. So if you're a little bit ahead of him, maybe somebody else can do it. You know?
I got an idea. Hey, whoa! Go back in time, grab a piece of paper, make a paper airplane, and throw it in the air.
Oh my god! Mind blown.
You're getting fed straight to the lions.
Fuck you.
Fucking Christian. Straight to lions. I Colosseum.
What work is this? Yeah.
Also, you want to buy Apple wherever you are, even if there's not a stock market yet. Just buy Apple.
No, see, if you actually want me to answer the question that you asked, then there's some real basic bit shit that I'd look at, and that would be the sun and the moon. Firstly, and that the sun goes over us every day. It rises and it sets. It rises and falls. It doesn't appear and disappear. It doesn't change angular size, which would initially tell me that, oh shit, this big old bitch must be a globe. If it's not a globe, it has to be a cylinder at the very least. And then I'd go, oh shit, the moon, sorry. Oh, the moon. We see the same face of the moon. Oh, that big old bitch. I can't at this time tell how far away it is. This is 2,000 years ago. I can't tell how far away it is, but I've noticed that over quite a few years that we've seen the same face. And in saying that, because of a lunar eclipse, I would have said, well, it's obviously a sphere, using logical sense. And then I would have said, well, if it's a sphere, it must be rotating at not the same rate as the Earth is.